In this video, we will cover how to install the PRI belt drive automatic tensioner. Here we have the tensioner assembly partially disassembled, along with the necessary tools to carry out the installation. This here is the swing arm assembly. This is the mounting clamp. This is the alignment knob and mounting screw. And these are the mounting screws to mount the tensioner to the bicycle. Here we have the Allen wrenches needed, starting with the 5/32, 1/8 inch, 3/32, 0.050, and 3mm. The first thing we need to do is set the course alignment. To do so, you will need to determine which position to install the alignment knob. There are 4 positions to choose from. Starting on the outside, we have position 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the easiest way to determine the required position is to install the belt tensioner assembly onto the bicycle without the alignment knob, like so. So first you'll take the clamp, and you'll just slide it on like this, but you won't install the knob. Then you'll mount this to the bicycle using the screws, and you'll just snug them down in place. Once it's on the bike, then you'll simply just make sure that the tensioner is rotated down so that you can see these holes here, and then you'll simply just align the pulley with the belt and then make note of which hole is closest to the center. Now in this case, I've already got the right hole selected. So here I just wanted to show you that the upper pulley is slightly wider than the belt, and the upper pulley also has chamfers. So when the belt is centered, the edge of the belt should be in line with the inside edge of the respective chamfer. Once you have determined the course alignment position, you may need to relocate one of the set screws if the desired alignment hole is populated. If this is the case, simply remove the set screw using the 050 Allen wrench and relocate it to the unpopulated hole. So in this case, I'm just going to show you, for example, we're going to relocate this one here. And basically what you want to do is try to install it the way I have here, so you're using the long end installed into the set screw, and you're using the short leg of the key to remove and install it. So simply take it out, and you'll just put it in the next hole here and install it in the same manner. And you want to make note is that there should be just a slight amount of resistance when you go to tighten this, and you want to make sure that the key is flush here, or sorry, that the set screw is flush. Now, in some cases, if you don't feel any resistance, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to take it out and just go ahead and replace it. And if I can get this off here, I've got a new one right here, which I'll set it in my hand here. As you can see, there's a little locking patch on these set screws here, and sometimes even out of the box, the patches are not consistent, and you may have to just discard it and put a new one in. But what I wanted to make note of is that these patches only last for so long. So after so many make and break cycles, typically only a few, it's going to wear out. So you may want to have some of the extra of these on hand. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just put it back in this hole since for the particular install, and I'm going to put it flush. For the particular install, we need to use this hole right here. Okay, so now we can go ahead and finish prepping the tensioner for actual install. So what we need to do first is take our clamp. We're going to slide it onto the cylinder here, and you're going to line it until the unpopulated hole is centered up with the bracket. Then you're going to take your knob and alignment screw, and you're going to get the tip of the screw till it's just barely into the threaded hole, and then you're going to take your 3/32 Allen wrench and you will thread it into place like so. And you don't want it tight, you want it so that the knob spins freely back and forth. And if you'll notice here, as I spin the knob now, the clamp actually moves back and forth. And that's actually how you're going to set your fine alignment, which now we're ready to go ahead and install this on the bike. Okay, so here we have our prepped belt tensioner, and we're ready to go ahead and install it on the bicycle. So first thing you want to do is you want to take your finger and you want to lift up the belt like so, and then you'll take the tensioner and you'll make sure that the bracket is flat against the hanger adapter and also in the alignment slot, and then you'll just kind of gently slide it up so you can actually see the holes. And then we will go ahead and take our screws and thread them in by hand. And then we'll take our 3mm Allen wrench and we'll go ahead and snug these up. And what you want to do though, right before you tighten it, you want to make sure that the hanger is all the way pulled down so that the screws are bottomed out in the top of the slot. Then just snug them down. Okay, now all you want to do is you want to rotate this a little bit so that you can get access to the knob. And you're going to turn the alignment knob until you get to the desired position. So as you see, as I move this, to rotate this, this tensioner moves back and forth, inboard and outboard. So usually you can just take your fingers and you want to check to make sure that the pulley's aligned with the belt, and in this case it is. So now we're going to take our 3/32 Allen wrench, and what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and tighten the knob, and you want to make sure that the tensioner doesn't move in the process. So usually you can hold the knob and then go ahead and snug it down like so. And then now it's aligned, so now we can tension this, and as we tension it, it won't lose alignment. So, okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we're going to loosen up the mounting screws just a little bit so that they're just slightly loose. Then you're going to take the tensioner and you're going to push it up like so till it stops, and then you can go ahead and tighten your screws. Now the screws, you don't have to torque them, but if you were to torque them, I typically wouldn't go any more than 30 inch-pounds. Right now I just kind of go by feel and just get it to where it's pretty tight. I mean, it's significantly tight, but not over tight. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take the tensioner arm and you're going to rotate it up with your finger, and then you're going to rotate the belt out of the way, and you're just going to get it so that it's going to line up with the rib here on the tensioner. So now it's installed, but we need to go ahead and preload it. Okay, to preload the tensioner, what you need to do is you need to take your 5/32 inch Allen wrench and you're going to install it on the center screw here, and then you're going to rotate it clockwise. And if you'll notice, as I rotate it, you can see the belt tensioning. Now in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it until this alignment knob stops in the bottom of the slot here. So I'm going to fully rotate it till it stops, and then while you're holding that in place, you're going to use your 1/8 inch Allen wrench and you go ahead and tighten up the screw on the back of the clamp here. And believe it or not, you only need to really tighten it until you just almost fully close the gap. It does not take much force at all to hold this in place. Now, once you've done that, all you need to do is just go ahead and check to make sure that the swing arm has enough articulation and that you're not actually making the spring go solid. And you need to do that also by bottoming out the suspension fully, either by taking the air out of your suspension and then fully compressing it, and make sure that everything's working properly and nothing's binding. And as you see, as I spin it back here, freewheel, everything seems to be working just fine. Everything's working the way it should. Anyway, that's all there is to it.